Florida 24 Network, discovering all of Florida.
Connecting you to the biggest stories impacting Florida. This is The News on Florida 24 Network.
Right now on Florida 24 Network, a ban on drag shows or an effort to protect children.
Now they're trying to get rid of drag queens.
We have team coverage on a measure sparking conversation and debate throughout the state, from the Capitol.
As lawmakers, we are failing the children of Florida if we don't step in.
To Miami.
It's an experience. It's for people to be entertained and to enjoy.
Where some performers tell us the show will go on. Hello and welcome to Florida 24 Network. I am Jennifer Dela Cruz. We're covering the top stories across our state. In Tallahassee, lawmakers are moving forward a bill that would prohibit minors from attending adult live performances. The measure could impact drag shows throughout our state. To provide more context on this hotly debated topic, we have team coverage here on Florida 24 Network, starting off with Forrest Saunders at the Capitol.
This vote was another steamrolling by the GOP supermajority. Republicans were able to push it through despite wide opposition from Democratic lawmakers as well as LGBTQ advocates protesting outside the chamber. It was a scene that's become all too familiar in Tallahassee this year. LGBTQ plus advocates denouncing a policy they think is designed to censor.
Now they're trying to get rid of drag queens. They're trying to erase us and make us feel uncomfortable.
The bill, SB 1438, prohibits someone from knowingly admitting a child to what it calls adult live performances. They're defined as a presentation that, quote, depicts or simulates nudity, sexual conduct, or specific sexual activities. Violation is a first-degree misdemeanor with up to a year of imprisonment and fines. The hosting hotels, restaurants, or bars face fines as well, or loss of licenses. Even those issued a permit for public events are subject to a misdemeanor charge if a child is knowingly exposed to sexually explicit content.
As lawmakers, we are failing the children of Florida if we don't step in and say there are, venues at which performances should not let children in.
Senator Clay Yarborough is sponsoring the bill, saying it's not about censorship. It's about protection.
I'm confident that not only in my district, but across the state, parents don't want kids to go into these performances.
But on the floor,
what is the danger here? We haven't heard of a single example of any improper conduct.
Democrats railed against the policy.
Senators, let's try understanding a little more and condemning a little less.
Many are concerned the language is too broad and that if enacted, the bill will have a chilling effect on businesses and communities hosting things like drag shows.
Yeah, it sounds like you're calling it a waste of time.
It is a waste of time. Everything that has happened has been a waste of time.
Senator Chevron Jones called the bill GOP indoctrination, alleging Republicans were trying to create an issue to appease their voter base.
Talk to us about things that are going to move the agenda of Floridians. Talk to us about what's going to move property insurance. Talk to us what's going to move children to make sure that they're proficient in reading.
28 yeas, 12 nays, Madam President.
Show the bill passes.
In the end, Senate Republicans had the votes needed to get the bill to the House, likely its final stop before reaching the governor's desk. So when will the House take up this bill? That's a good question. It will likely be a while, as its version of the bill still has 2 more committee stops before reaching the floor. That's the latest out here at the Capitol. I'm Forrest Saunders reporting.
Meanwhile, businesses that could feel the brunt of this legislation say they are prepared if this bill becomes law. Reporter Sophia Hernandez shares how one of Miami's most iconic drag shows does not believe this will break them.
Drag never hurted anyone or is meant to hurt anyone at all. So it makes me pretty sad, to be honest.
Cece Glitzer has been performing here for the last year and has been doing drag for the past 8, and says this isn't the first time legislation looks to curtail her performances.
I think there's a lot of fear from people that are bringing all of these legislations up. There shouldn't be any fear. You know, you don't have to respect me or my art or what I am doing, but you have to accept me for what I am and what I'm doing. The same I do with anything else. I don't have to respect or agree with anything that is going on in the world, but we have to agree to disagree.
In Florida's legislature, 2 bills are being presented in both the House and the Senate. The measures would punish any group or person that allows children to see adult live performances. This could impact operations like Palace.
I think if anything, it makes people want to come out more and enjoy more and support and celebrate.
Within the last year, Palace has made necessary changes. They have upped the age limit to 18 and over and upped security from 6 individuals to 10. It's also changed performers' costumes to be more clothed, all to remain in line with these proposals.
It doesn't give us worries because we're already following the policies, and we have a great group of gals that are here that are working every day. For us, we're doing everything right.
Other Miami businesses like Our House Wynwood have faced their own criticism after a video last year showed a young girl being brought on stage by a performer. Now the state is investigating to determine if the venue should lose its liquor license over the performance that was deemed sexually explicit by state officials. Our House declined an interview, but told me it currently has an open case against the state and is hopeful a positive resolution with the state is forthcoming.
Where are you from? Minneapolis.
Businesses like Palace say they aren't fazed. Operating in its 35th year on the heels of Miami Beach Pride Weekend, it hopes to provide entertainment for years to come.
We are hoping that people continue to see that it's an experience. It's for people to be entertained and to enjoy and to love and to be supportive and love our community even more. So for us, the show continues on.
In Miami Beach, Sophia Hernandez, Florida 24 Network.
As this bill continues to move through the legislature, count on Florida 24 Network to keep you updated. The legislative session ends May 5th. Here are some of the other top stories we're following, starting with new details in Monday's mass shooting at a Louisville bank. We're now learning the shooter legally bought the gun just 1 week before killing at least 5 people and hurting several others. Police say the shooter, a bank employee, opened fire after recently learning he was about to lose his job. The gunman live streamed the attack on social media before dying in a shootout with police. The attack prompting reaction across the country, including here in Florida. Newly elected Florida Congressman Maxwell Frost now announcing a new proposal to combat gun violence.
We don't have a singular office at the federal level that works at ending gun violence every single day, and I believe that an issue that takes 100 lives a day is a daily issue and requires a daily solution and daily work.
Florida Senator Rick Scott says one of the victims, Tommy Elliott, was his banker and his friend. In a tweet, he wrote, quote, "He did so much in the Louisville community, and we pray for his family during this awful time." New developments 2 years after a supposed hack into a Florida city's water treatment plant. The FBI now says they are unable to confirm a cyber attack ever happened. An investigation began in February 2021 after high levels of lye were found in the water at an Oldsmar facility. At the time, the Pinellas County Sheriff's Office said they believed someone had remotely accessed the water treatment plant's computer system and made changes. Recently, Oldsmar's former city manager said at a conference no attack actually happened. The FBI confirms it has not found any evidence of a cyber attack. In South Florida, we're learning more about arrests after a series of so-called street takeovers. We've been following the situation in Broward County, where late last month, the sheriff's office charged several people and impounded their cars. This is video of a street takeover from earlier in the year. Officials are concerned stunts like these could be dangerous to both drivers and spectators. And now we're learning of the same thing happening in Palm Beach County. Last weekend, deputies gave out more than 40 tickets, and some drivers even ended up behind bars. Joel Lopez takes us inside the dangerous driving crackdown.
Palm Beach County Sheriff's Office hit the brakes on a street takeover in Jupiter Farms.
I mean, it comes out of nowhere.
Jeffrey Powers says the sounds of reckless drivers is all too common here.
But right now, when they're coming out, 10, 11 o'clock at night, it's not a good time for us folks. We're trying to go to sleep and got pets, animals, and horses, and it's real loud.
PBSO issued 45 citations. They towed 7 cars and arrested 7 people ages 16 to 26, many of which tried to get away.
It's a shame for the kids. I know they probably don't mean any harm, but what they're doing is illegal and it's not a good spot.
How fast can one of these cars go?
5 seconds. Over 240 miles.
Mick Martinez, a race car parts distributor, says the closing of the Palm Beach Raceway has left young drivers without a safe outlet.
Any kid 16 or older could go and run their car and have fun and learn about all the safety that you need to run quarter-mile drag racing, and all that's gone now.
As a result, Martinez says it's detoured them onto the streets, painting a bad image on his industry.
They're harming innocent people. Some of the spectators have gotten hurt. They fall out of the cars or they get hit by a car, and that's not right.
Joel Lopez, Florida 24 Network.
Coming up on Florida 24 Network.
Running into red tape.
I think that it's caught up in a whole bunch of politics between 4 or 5 agencies who all have their own different agendas. And it's a shame.
The issues facing some homeowners struggling to rebuild after 2 destructive hurricanes and why time is running out. Plus, the potential impact on Florida as we await a ruling that could limit access to a widely used abortion drug.
You're watching Florida 24 Network.
Rain is in the forecast for parts of Florida this week, and already we've seen downpours in several parts of our state. This video from Monday shows rough surf at Jacksonville Beach, and that's a concern because the area took a beating during last year's hurricane season. Jacksonville Beach officials say Hurricanes Ian and Nicole wiped away more than 2 billion pounds of sand. That's almost the same amount that the last beach renourishment project replaced 6 years ago. Another project is planned for 2024. Meanwhile, beachfront homeowners who are trying to recover from those back-to-back hurricanes say red tape is putting the process and their properties at risk. As crews race against the clock, those homeowners are reaching out to Carla Ray from our reporting partner WFTV in Central Florida.
Up and down the Volusia County coastline, you see destruction waiting for construction, including Jeffrey Hartman's New Smyrna Beach dream.
I mean, never thought I'd ever own a house on the beach.
Now barely braced on new sand.
This is the back of my house here. Came all through here, and this is my living room, and my son's room, and our master here. And the cut is another foot or so underneath the foundation there. So we lost about 10 feet of back foundation.
Before he can fix his house, he needs to secure the site with a seawall. And though this shot from Drone 9 shows his next-door neighbor's seawall survived, doing its job to protect the property, he can't get approval to build one in the same spot.
I think that it's caught up in a whole bunch of politics between 4 or 5 agencies who all have their own different agendas. And it's a shame.
Volusia County told 9 Investigates that the Florida Department of Environmental Protection reviews and permits all construction near the coastline. As part of that process, another state agency, the Florida Fish and Wildlife, acts as a commenting agency, making sure that permits don't conflict with rules regarding protected species, including sea turtles and gopher tortoises who used to nest in what used to be dunes right here.
They've always had say in the siting of seawalls. But what's happening now is the criteria that's in a lot of the administrative code says for the seawall to be sited as close to the dune erosion line as practicable.
Jonathan Adams is the vice president of CRA and Associates, a New Smyrna Beach-based structural engineering firm. His firm has been hired for 95 seawall repairs and installations, but only about 20% have been approved. He says FWC wants most of his clients' seawalls to be moved much farther back from the shoreline, greatly reducing their usable property.
So there would be a sawtooth seawall. In addition, there would be not adequate protection for these homeowners.
We're still waiting to hear from FWC, but the agency's stance on coastal construction can be found right on its website, stating seawalls have been shown to lower the frequency of sea turtle nesting. Hartman feels like it's a land grab, turning his property into public beach.
Taking the property is not acceptable.
Reporting from Volusia County, Florida, I'm Carla Ray.
And there's added time pressure with turtle nesting season just a few weeks away. Volusia County leaders have been advocating at the state and federal levels for construction to continue during nesting season, with steps taken to ensure active nests are protected. But as of right now, any projects that aren't underway before May 1st cannot start until November.
This is a Florida 24 Network weather update.
How you doing, everybody? I'm meteorologist Dennis Phillips. Here's the latest weather update for the Florida 24 Network. Rain likely from Wednesday right through Thursday evening.
A national headline we're following here in Florida. The country continues to wait on an appeal court's decision regarding the abortion drug mifepristone. The drug, which is used in most medication abortions in the country, could be banned Friday if an opinion by a federal district judge in Texas is allowed to take effect. Our Joe St. George explains what is at stake and why this case is likely heading to the Supreme Court.
From a national standpoint, all eyes right now are on the Fifth Circuit Court of Appeals and this debate over mifepristone, which, if you are unfamiliar with mifepristone, it's the prescription drug that is commonly used by abortion providers to end a pregnancy using a medication abortion. It's not the only way that you can have an abortion through medication in the United States, but it certainly is the preferred way. The World Health Organization has said there are other options that providers can use if a ban occurs, but that those other options often carry with it more side effects. So where is this debate right now? A conservative-leaning Texas district judge issued a ruling late last Friday saying that effective this coming Friday, the pill would be banned. He believes it's an unsafe drug and that the FDA shouldn't have approved it several years ago. A competing ruling emerged out of Washington state Friday as well that essentially said the drug is safe. All of this sets up a Fifth Circuit Court of Appeals decision. Typically, this appellate court is conservative leaning, so conservatives have the advantage here. The appellate court could keep the Texas judge's opinion in place. He could keep this ban that's set to take effect in place. As a practical matter, though, this whole debate is on a crash course to the United States Supreme Court. This will likely be the first major abortion-related decision that faces Supreme Court and Supreme Court justices since the Dobbs decision last summer. And it will give us insight into what's next when it comes to the abortion debate in our country. How this all shakes out, this drug could be banned nationwide. It doesn't matter if you live in a blue state or a red state.
Still ahead on Florida 24 Network.
Holding contractors accountable. The changes that could give homeowners less time to act and the mixed response this idea is getting. Plus, 3 sold-out shows in Tampa. The big way the city is honoring Taylor Swift and how her hotly anticipated tour could impact you even if you did not score a ticket.
You're watching Florida 24 Network.
It's a sore spot for many Florida homeowners, concerns over contractors. And now there's controversy over a new bill that's on the way to the governor. If it becomes law, it would make it so homeowners have less time to go after shoddy contractors. Kate Hussey reports from the Treasure Coast and shows us why some say the measure is needed, while others say it impacts accountability.
I'm not jumping in.
In his rubber ducky bathing suit,
I got that backstroke down pat.
Rick Freimeyer
There he is.
dives right in to tell us about a more than 2-year-long saga.
Right now, I'm feeling relieved just getting this off my chest.
The Okeechobee couple hired a contractor to build this same pool.
He made it sound too good to be true.
A plan that soon went under.
It was an absolute nightmare for my wife and I being retired.
Rick paid $35,000, and instead of this, he says he was left with a hole in the ground.
The pool.
And no sign of the contractor supposed to finish it.
The floor, the travertine tile that we were promised, never showed. Never happened.
The contractor he hired was found guilty of fraud and money laundering. But if a recently passed Senate bill gets signed by Governor DeSantis, opponents fear it will be more difficult for some contractors to face consequences.
It really is going to, I think, create problems for folks that live in condominiums, folks that live in HOAs, whether it's a townhome or otherwise, and then also just people that own a single-family home house.
Construction attorney Patrick Howell says as the law stands right now, developers have 7 years to turn over the association for a condo or an HOA home to its homeowner, meaning the owner can't make a claim on a construction defect until then. But because the current statute of limitations for prosecuting a shoddy contractor is 10 years, homeowners still have that 3-year window to make a claim. Senate Bill 360, he says, would eliminate that 3-year window, meaning when the homeowner eventually gets to file the claim.
Literally, the deadline for bringing a claim for construction defects will have already run.
there is absolutely no chance that they could essentially get justice or accountability.
Exactly.
Howell also says homeowners like Rick are more likely to be impacted.
The thing that keeps folks honest in this industry is the idea that they may be held accountable.
The driving force of the bill, though, to protect reliable contractors like Anthony Gizzi.
It's a very risky business. There's a lot of things involved.
He says right now contractors are challenged with everything from frivolous lawsuits to homeowners that take advantage.
Homeowners that pull all kinds of crazy little tricks to get out of paying.
He wants fraudulent contractors held accountable too, but feels the proposed law is a good thing.
Absolutely. Contractors need more protection.
Rick, though, disagrees.
I don't care if it's 10 or 20 years ago, it wasn't done right. And I had to hire somebody else to fix the problem.
Each dip in the pool.
It was kind of cool.
A reminder of the bite out of his wallet he's still recovering from.
Unfortunately, we bought it. We bought into the sale. And I've never I've regretted it ever since.
On the Treasure Coast, Kate Hussey, Florida 24 Network.
There are efforts underway across our state to make sure everyone can enjoy a day at the playground. The city of Naples says there's progress for this new inclusive playground at Fleischman Park. It will feature accessible ramps and an adaptive merry-go-round that can accommodate wheelchairs. The surfaces are also soft, so they're accessible for kids with physical disabilities. Meanwhile, in Pensacola, a musical sensory garden at Kiwanis Park is open. It provides inclusive, interactive play opportunities for children of all ages and abilities. There are chimes, percussion instruments, and more. This week, pop star Taylor Swift is bringing her Eras Tour to Florida. You can see the stage is getting set up at Raymond James Stadium in Tampa. She will perform 3 sold-out shows on Thursday, Friday, and Saturday, and the city is set to reap the benefits. We did some digging and found during Swift's last 2 tours, she brought in almost $2.2 million in revenue for the Tampa Sports Authority, which manages the stadium. Once you take out the cost associated with hosting the concert, that equals about $730,000 for the Sports Authority. Meanwhile, even Tampa's mayor is getting in on the excitement, making this invitation to Swift on social media.
So I want to present you with a key to the city and invite you to be our honorary mayor for a day. Mayor Swift has a nice ring to it.
Yes, Mayor Swift. Then this week, Old City Hall, Tampa's Riverwalk, and all downtown bridges will be lit up in red in honor of Swift's Red album. This is Florida 24 Network streaming now. Your Florida news and weather back in a minute. And in case you're just joining us, here's a quick look at what's making headlines across our state.